Hello, everyone. Today I have brought you the poem Raven, which is written by Edgar Allan Poe, one of the most reputed figure in American literature. This poem Raven was written in 1845, and the poet Edgar Allan Poe was born in 1809 January 19 and died on October 7, 1849. He was American writer, editor, literary critic. He was considered to be one of the central figure in romanticism of American literature, and he is also regarded as the inventor of detective fiction genre. The reason of his death was speculated to be brain or cerebral inflammation. The other poems, which were equally famous as The Raven, were Annabel Lee, The Bells, A Dream Within a Dream, Alone, and Lenore. Talking about this poem, The Raven, it can be said that this poem relates with the emotional battle a person goes through when they lose their near and dear ones. So here we have unnamed speaker who is going through an emotional turmoil because his lover Lenore is no more. She has died. So there is a situation in which there is one night. It is actually midnight. The uh, setting of the poem is midnight, and it is a bleak December. Like there is no vegetation, and it is a pitch dark where the speaker is seated on the chair and he is trying to come out of his depression, and he has taken the help of the books to do that. So he is just studying and he is napping in the middle. All of a sudden, he hears a tapping on the chamber door. Chamber door means room door. Chamber here means room. So there is a knocking on the door. And then he speaks to himself that maybe it is some visitor who has come to visit me in the middle of the night, and there is nothing to be afraid of. Although he's a little bit afraid, as you can see in the second paragraph, second line, and each separate dying ember, ember means the last piece of the coal which was used to keep the room warm. So there is an interpretation, there is an uh, insinuation that there could be a presence of ghost there, and he's eagerly waiting for the morrow, which is tomorrow, and he wants to seize all his sorrow with the help of the book, and he's lamenting at the time for the loss of his lover Lenore. So he's talking to himself that maybe there's nothing to panic about, and there is a person who has come to meet me on the chamber door, but he hasn't gone there still to open the door. Here in the third paragraph, you'll see, and the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain. So, even the way the curtain makes a move, it is sad, it is uncertain. So, the whole atmosphere is very gloomy, the mood is very contemplative. And that mood, that gloomy and contemplative mood, has been replaced by worry and fear. So, he keeps on telling himself that it is only a visitor who has come to visit him, and there is nothing more. Now he muster all his courage and he approaches to the door if there is anyone who was knocking at the door in the middle of the night. So he speaks out, like outside, he actually speaks that, sir or madam, I'm sorry that it is taking so much time for me to open the door. I heard a very feeble tapping, and thus I wasn't sure that if there is a people outside my door. So here I come and I will open the door, and he opens the door wide. The way you can see it in the picture, he opens the door wide, but outside there is nothing but the darkness. Darkness there and nothing more. In the stanza 5, again there is a setting depiction that there is a deep into that darkness peering. Long I stood there wondering, fearing. So he was still standing at the door. He was wondering, he was fearful that who was tapping the door, and all of a sudden, why I can't see anybody. And then he started talking to himself that maybe there was nobody. And then, as I said before, that he was lamenting the death of a lover, Lenore. So in the darkness, he whispers the word, Lenore. And the echo comes back, Lenore. But there is nothing more apart from the word Lenore, which he whispers into the empty space. Then he comes back to his chamber, that is room. He comes back into his empty room and he wonders whether he has gone mad, he has gone crazy. Why is he hearing the noises like that? But soon he hears the knocking once again, but this time it is at the window lattice. See the third line of the sixth paragraph, it is written, surely there is something at my window lattice. So there is a knock on the window lattice. And again he starts talking to himself. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more. Now he was thinking that, okay, let me open the door. Maybe perhaps it is the door because it is a winter season, it is December, so maybe the wind is howling and that is the noise which is making on my window. Nevertheless, he goes and he opens the window wide. He attempts to push open the window, and all of a sudden, a raven, a crow, enters amid some bustle. The crow, according to the narrator, the one who is speaking, he appears like he is not of this present era. He is from the yester years, very old years he belongs to, because his appearance was majestic. So the raven, the crow, he enters inside the room. Not the least obeisance made him. He does not pay any respect to the speaker, to the poet. He did not say, can I enter? He just enters inside without taking permission. But with mien of lord or lady, the kind of appearance, the kind of aura that the raven had created among us, among the room, inside the room, it was like a lord or a lady, very respectful. And when he enters inside the room, he sits on the bust of Pallas, as you can see here in the picture. Bust means like a statue which covers only the upper half of the body, and Pallas, which is bust of Pallas. Pallas is actually the goddess of wisdom, which is useful for arts and prudent warfare, and it is said that she was the guardian of Athens. So there is a statue kept in the room of the poet, and the crow, the raven, sits on the head. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling. Of course, the poet was very sad, and then he starts smiling as if the raven has attracted him, bewitched him. So he was very stern when the poet looked at the face of the raven. He was very grave, very serious, his decorum, it was countenance, the kind of appearance it bore. Though they crest be shown and shaven thou, I said, art sure no craven. And then he starts talking to the crow. The poet starts talking to the raven, and he says that you don't look a coward. You look like you have come from the wandering night shore. And then he starts questioning that you don't look like a usual crow. There is something different about you. And then he says that you tell me, have you come from the night's Plutonian shore? Here the word shore means like the ocean. So the night has become as wide as the ocean. And here there is a depiction like darkness and night both are the major symbol of this poem, and it represents mystery and maybe dangerous or scary power of the nature. So he is telling Plutonian here is the Pluto, the god Pluto, who is considered to be the god of wealth and underworldly. So here is a depiction that maybe the crow has come from the underworld, from the hell. So he asked the question first time here in this paragraph number 8. First time the question is asked from the poet to the crow, and he asked that, tell me, have you come from the night's Plutonian shore? And the raven says, nevermore. Now here is the first appearance of something abnormal, because usually the crow does not speak, but here we have a crow who is answering the question of the poet that no, I haven't come from the Plutonian shore. Next, the second question. But before asking the question, that the crow is speaking, so it was unnatural. So he couldn't take it in, the poet, he couldn't grasp that how he can speak nevermore, how can he respond to the question. So he asserts that maybe he is neither living nor dead, what is in front of him. So he again he says that what kind of crow will sit on the palace bust of the palace and will speak such a name as nevermore. But that raven, who was sitting alonely, very quiet, very composed, spoke only one word. And the way he spoke that one word, it seemed like he has showered all his emotions into that one word. So the raven remained silent, still sitting on the statue. And the narrator, he returns back to his sad state, is whispering about his relationship with the friends. And then he says to himself, not to the crow, not to the raven, he's speaking himself to himself that other friends have flown before. He's telling that, see, my friends have left me. My lover, whom I loved so much, she has left me. So maybe in the morning, this crow will also leave me because everybody leaves me and leaves me alone. The moment he says that maybe this crow will leave in the morning, again there is a response from the raven the second time, and he says, nevermore, as in, I'm never going to leave you. Startled at the stillness broken, now the poet is very startled. He's amused that, oh my God, again he spoke to me. And then he thinks that maybe he would have had a master who would have taught him only one word, which is nevermore. You know, the way we teach the parrots that you repeat our word and then parrots repeat back. So the poet is assuming that maybe this crow had a master who was very unmerciful and he taught him only one word, nevermore, and thus he is repeating only one word, which is nevermore. But the raven still beguiling, the raven was still seated there, and he was looking so attractive. So the poet decided that, okay, I will sit in front of him. So he took his chair, he took his cushion, and the way you can see in the picture, he sat just in front of the raven, looking at him. And the moment he sat, the velvet cushion sank in, and then again he started thinking about the lady love. Fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of your, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of your mean in croaking nevermore. And then he started talking to himself that what does he mean by speaking the word nevermore. And now you can see here alliteration. You have the repetition of the consonant again and again, that is called alliteration. You have grim, gainly, ghastly, gaunt. So this kind of literary device you would find here. Here we have found the alliteration. After sitting and after talking to himself and pondering over the fact that what does this raven means by repeating this word nevermore, again he sits there guessing, but the raven speaks nothing. But the fury, the burning eyes of the crow was getting inside the heart, the bosom of the poet. And then he starts speaking and thinking about Lenore, and he thinks that, oh my God, now the velvet cushion on which I have seated my lover, Lenore, will never sit on this velvet cushion. My chair will never have a feel of her. My cushion will never have the feel of my lover. Then methought the air grew denser, and all of a sudden there is a feeling which grows into the heart of the poet. He starts feeling that the air has grown dense and there is unidentified perfume smell in the room. And then he he shouted to the crow, wretch, I cry, thy God hath lent thee by these angels he hath sent thee respite, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, O quaff, the kind nepenthe, and forgot this lost Lenore. Now, nepenthe is a kind of rare drug which is thought that it will banish all the troubled thoughts from your mind. So he is asking that, has the God sent you? Has the angels sent you so that I would forget Lenore and I would come in the normal state? Because right now I'm so sad that I couldn't think of anything else but my lover Lenore. So have you brought nepenthe with you? Have you brought nepenthe for me to drink? Quaff means to drink. So he's asking, have you brought nepenthe for me to drink so that I will become normal again and all the heartache which I am having because of the death of my lover, that will go. Again, he speaks to the raven and he says, now before I go further, here you can see, quoth the raven, nevermore. Quoth means speak. Now speak, the raven said, nevermore. Like, I haven't brought any nepenthe for you so that you can forget your lover, Lenore. Again, the poetess speaks to the raven. Prophet, said I, think of evil. Prophet still, if bird or devil. He said that I don't care if the angels have sent you or the evil spirit has sent you. The way you have haunted my entire room. Again, I ask you, have you brought balm of Gilead? Balm of Gilead is considered as a rare perfume which is used medicinally, and it is also mentioned in the Bible. It is like universal cure. Whatever suffering you are having, whether physically or emotionally, balm of Gilead will cure it all. So he is asking, have you brought balm of Gilead for me so that I can forget all my aches? Again, Raven says, nevermore, like I haven't brought anything for you. Again, the next question Prophet asked. Prophet, said I, think of evil. Prophet still, if bird of devil. So there is a repetition, refrain. There is a repetition of the first line. Again, he asks, tell the soul with sorrow laden. My soul is sorrow laden. And Eden here means the garden of Eden. And he's telling that if my lover Lenore has been accepted in the heaven, and do you think that after my death I will again go and meet her and we both will be united again in the heaven? Raven again says, nevermore. So the all question which the poet is asking, there is only one answer from the raven, which is nevermore. Be that word a sign of parting. Now this poet is fed up and he is telling that just go from here. Please go from here. Whether you are a bird or you are a demon, I don't care. Just go. And while you are going back to the night's Plutonian shore, do not leave any feather in my room as a souvenir. Here it is written, leave no black plume. Plume means feather. He's telling that do not dare to leave any token of love in the form of the black feather. Just go. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Leave me be, because you are not here to cure me. I am suffering from the heartbreak. So please get out of my door. And then Raven says, nevermore. That means I'm never going to leave you. I will stay here. And the raven, never flitting, he did not move at all, still is sitting, still is sitting. So there is a continuous tense that raven is still there, perched on the statue of Pallas. His eyes, its eyes, the eyes of the raven has become devilish. The raven is illuminating by the lamp. You can see in the picture there is a lamp behind the raven, and as we know, the light casts the shadow. So the lamp lit over him, streaming, throws a shadow on the floor. The shadow of the raven is coming on the floor, and the poet feels that it has imprisoned his soul and preventing him from ever being released, as if the poet has become possessed by this raven. So the whole poetry ends at the sad note that at the end, the poet has succumbed to the sorrow, to the heartbreak, and he's never going to be happy again, and he has been possessed by the crow. The themes, if you ask that what are the themes, there is a theme of madness and despair, death and afterlife. There are different symbols there, like death, evil, supernatural, messenger, memory, thoughts, and we have always the contrast of light and dark, white and black, day and night, life and death, sanity and madness. There are some keywords which you can use while answering. And if we talk about the rhyme scheme, what is the rhyme scheme followed here? Well, the rhyme scheme which is followed here is A, B, C, B, B, B. In all the paragraphs you will see like shrieked, shore, spoken. These are A, B, C, and then there is a repetition of B, 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 like shore, door, nevermore. This rhyming scheme of ABC, BBB, you will see in the entire poem. That is it for this lovely poetry. Thank you.